来，现在掌声欢迎农场主人 Mr. Wei Lee。
Aloha. I want to welcome everyone here to Aloha Aina today. Thank you for coming, and I hope you enjoy your stay.
都有听到吗？我说翻译，好，耳机要打开了，不好意思，他说就这么突然。他刚刚说欢迎大家来到哈罗瓦埃纳。哦，那我现在要问他几个问题。Why don't you introduce your wife first？ 我请他介绍他的太太。
This is my wife Lillian Lee. Hi. And that's one of my sons, Ryan.
Hi.
所以都开都有听到吗？好，那我就不翻译了哦。我的中文不是那么好。首先我会问他这个第一个问题，就是哈罗瓦埃纳，它是我们的优乐芳合作农场。那它其实是为了2个目的来存在的。第一个当然是自给自足、经济独立。第二个，另外一个很大的部分就是环境的保育、富裕大岛环境的责任。那他会说，他会是一个根据当地的文化所建立的。那我会问他是为什么？那当地的文化是什么 ？So the first question I'm gonna ask is that Aloha Aina is committed to economic prosperity and environmental responsibility, and is guided by cultural values for a more sustainable Hawaii. That leads to the question that what is cultural value exactly, and what may you and your family want to do that?
So the cultural values that we refer to in the mission statement is that the Hawaiians used to use sandalwood therapeutically as medicine, yeah? So what we're trying to do is to follow in their footsteps, and that's why we've partnered with Young Living.
你需要他讲慢一点的时候跟我说，通灵 OK 的，我需要是。好厉害。对，机器翻译。And the second question, how did you get to know Mr. Gary Young and know about Young Living? I believe that would be a very interesting story.
I will try and
第二
talk.
个问题差点忘记讲。第二个问题就是他怎么认识 Gary 的？那怎么跟优乐芳连上线的？
开玩笑。
Okay.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay. The question was, how did I meet Gary Young? It's a very interesting question. We were making oil, sandalwood oil, and we were giving it out as samples at international essential oil conferences in Singapore, in Paris, and in San Francisco. One of our samples was given to a woman called Mary Lou Jacobs, and she worked for Young Living. She gave the samples to Gary. Gary couldn't believe the quality of the oil and thought we were doing something to change the oil, and it wasn't real. So Gary came to Hawaii. He landed at the airport and called my brother and told my brother that he was Gary Young and that he wanted to come and see the operation here. And my brother said, well, I'm working and we weren't expecting anyone, so there's no one here to come and get you at the airport. Now Gary Young is at the Kona airport where you flew into today. So my brother called me and said, you need to go pick up this man. His name is Gary Young. I knew nothing of Young Living. I didn't know who Gary Young was. So I told him I was 2 hours away and I wouldn't be able to go get him. So I hung up the phone thinking that was it. The next phone call was Gary. And Gary said, I'm Gary Young from Young Living. And I said, that's good. That's good. He said, you need to come pick me up. I said, I'm 2 hours away. He said, no, you need to come pick me up. So I hung up the phone. He waited at the airport for a couple of hours. I went and picked him up and brought him here. He ended up staying here overnight And then he called in Mary and his 2 sons, and we made oil together over there. And then he sent the samples back, and then was reassured that it was real. So then he told us, knowing our mission to regrow the native forest, that he would supply us with, he would buy all of the oil just for Young Living. So it was a very good day. But Gary spent the whole week up here with us.
And what made you and Gary click right away？ 就是我问他说，他跟 Gary 要怎么马上一拍即合的这样子的认识的过程。
One of the things that Gary and I got along with very well is I am a biologist. So my main concern was the forest and the land, and Hawaiians refer to it as aina. Yeah? We're very closely related to the land. We consider the land to be our mother. So talking to Gary, my biggest concern was restoring the forest the way it was 200 years ago. The forest that is here today is just a remnant of what it used to be. So we needed an economic cash flow in order to grow the trees in the nursery and to do the outplanting and to pull the weeds and to do all the things that we needed to do to grow the forest. So for the first 5 or 6 hours, all we talked about was the native ecosystem here. And he was very intrigued and very excited because one of his biggest things is to bring back these kind of native ecosystems because all plants share this land with us. And if we take care of the plants will take care of us. And that's part of the Hawaiians' feelings. That was the way Gary saw it too. So he was all in. He gave us everything we needed in order to restore all of the plants. And at the same time have the plants help people.
好，那下一个问题啊，我会问他 ，Aloha Aina 是什么意思？它是夏威夷话，哦，它跟刚才说的这个部分有很大的关系。So what does it mean exactly for Aloha Aina? Yeah. Yes.
So, Haloa is a Hawaiian name. It is the name of the first human being. So Haloa was born from Father Sky, who is Wakea in Hawaiian, Mother Earth, who is Papa. Wakea and Papa had a child. When that child was born, that child was badly deformed. So badly deformed that it was still. And it looked more like a gourd, a grub, kind of like a potato. That broke the mom's heart, Papa, so she buried her son in the ground. And she wept on the ground. By weeping, the water caused that bud to sprout. They had a second son. They named him Haloa as well. In history, he's known as Haloa-Tu. When Haloa-Tu got a little bit older and went to visit his brother's grave, he noticed all of the plants coming out of the earth where his mother planted his brother. So he pulled those plants and outplanted them. Those became kalo, which is what the Hawaiians use to sustain their bodies. Yeah? So kalo is what taro comes from, where poi comes from, where all of the sustenance and starches for our bodies come from. So all the way back to the first human being, for Hawaiians, there's a close relationship between the land, man, and the plants. We're all one. We're all brothers. We're just a family. So Haloa Aina, that's where we get our name from. Haloa and Aina. Aina is land.
好，那我刚刚在里面听到有很，哦，他听他，好，他说他可以，我递给他好了，我等一下递给他。 好，我刚刚的说法里面有听到这个水 water 就是在扮演一个很重要的角色。那其实早上我在跟他做访谈的时候，他有提到一句话，这个是从他口里讲出来，不是我。他说 water is a blessing for Hawaii。那我就会问他为什么，那我等一下会请他来解释。So water plays an important part in the Aloha Aina and everything down to Hawaii. So I heard from you the exact word saying that water is a blessing to Hawaii. And why is that?
So water, just like the tears of the mother crying on the grave, in order to give the plants water so that the plant could grow. So from the very first plants that sustained human life, water is very important. So whenever rain falls from the sky, the Hawaiians call that rama. That's a very sacred thing. Where we are today is known as a tropical dryland forest. It is the rarest ecosystem on Earth. Here, we get very little rain. So we want to thank all of you for bringing all of this wonderful rain today. Thank you so much.
今天早上我听他讲的时候，我超激动的。我本来要放弃这里，但是我觉得不行。听他讲，我说那我们一定要来，排除万难。也谢谢我们厂商，让这一切都发生可能。哇！好，讲得有点激动，我要问下一个问题。下一个问题我会问他说：那我们今天要体验什么？有几个点要去让大家知道的东西。So what are we going to experiment today? I know there's greenhouse, processing, production, and planting. Could you elaborate?
So today, first we're going to give you a little history just like we did. And if any of you have any questions, I'll be around all day. So just ask me and I will fill in. I see hands already going up, so just let me know. But we had to change the schedule because of the blessing of the water falling from the sky. So instead of going to the greenhouse, we have some plants back here, and we'll have a biologist explaining the partnership between sandalwood and other plants, because it is a hemiparasitic plant, which makes it a very special plant. And we'll explain how that works. And then we have a planting area, so any of you that would like to go down and put a plant in the ground and bury it while the tears are falling from the sky, that would be very nice too. And then right next door we have our processing facility. So we have the sandalwood is cooking in there, we're making sandalwood oil as we speak. So we have two gentlemen over there that'll explain that. So you'll get to see the relationship between sandalwood and the rest of the trees in the forest. You'll be able to go out and actually physically put a tree in the ground if you'd like to. And then you'll see how the final product is created. Yeah? We also have an education center. And in the education center, we have a bunch of different kinds of products that are created from sandalwood. So all of you who buy sandalwood from oil from Young Living, you will get a lot of new ideas about how to use that, yeah? And how to share it with your downline. Mm.
好，那在我们分组之前，我们会分3组，第一组是 greenhouse， 会待在这里。